Hi, everyone. How are you today? Good? I heard you say good. Are you sure you are really good? I heard no and yes. Right. So for me, when you ask me these questions, I usually would say, I'm fine, thank you. But that doesn't mean I really feel fine. A lot of time, when I say fine, it might not be true. That's the same for a lot of you here, and also those out there. But why are we like that? One reason being, I'm not very comfortable sharing my feelings with other people, especially if the person is someone I'm not very familiar with. Another reason would be, I'm not sure. I don't want to prioritize it because I want to move on to the next agenda of the day as quickly as possible. Just like what you did just now. You said good, you said fine, because you want to hear what was I going to say next. Right? So let's switch our role a bit. If you ask me, how are you today? And I reply, I'm not good. I'm sad. And I'm depressed. How would you feel? How would you react? Many people here, or even those out there, would feel very uncomfortable. They feel that sometimes they found these situations is so anxiety-provoking. Many of them would even feel stunted for a while, searching for words, don't know how to react appropriately. Why are we like that? Why are we so reluctant to share our feelings with other people, and also feel so uncomfortable when other people talk about their feelings, especially if the emotions involved are the negative one? As we grow up as a child, let's take a tour of our childhood. Growing up, our parents, caregivers, teachers, or other grown-ups around us would show us pictures of some things to teach us to name different objects, to build our vocabularies. They will show us a book and say, this is a book. They will show us a flower and say, this is a flower. And also they teach us how to write and read and even ride a bicycle. But how often were we taught to name our emotions and how to handle each of the feelings we experience? And every time when we started crying as a child, how would your parents or other grown-ups react? Do you remember? Have you ever heard the grown-ups telling the children, a good girl doesn't cry, or a strong boy doesn't show his tears? And the society sometimes can be so unforgiving. They don't even allow a child to show their true emotions. For example, you will see a child having a meltdown in the public places. Some people will even judge a child, oh, such a difficult child. Or even judge their parents. This must be a bad parents, don't know how to bring up their child, cannot control the child's behavior. And all these responses send us a message that showing our emotions are bad. If you do, you are weak, you are not good enough. And so, as we grow up, we learn to hide our feelings. We suppress. The only way to handle our emotions is suppression. And our formal education system has never put mental health or your social emotional learning as a priority. The only way to pick up these skills is through social interactions with your caregivers, with your siblings, with your families, or even the broader environments. Unfortunately, when pandemic sets in, with the social isolation policy and social distancing policy, this has caused closures of schools and all the public places. We have spent unusual amount of time being confined at home. And this lack of social activities limited our opportunities to pick up these skills. We don't get to learn these skills anymore. The social emotional learning, the social interactions, how to manage these emotions. The only thing that we pick up was to suppress it, because we believe that this is a sign of strength. And hence, we see the rising trends of the psychological distress among the young people, the children, the adolescents, as well as the young adults, because they don't get to go out. According to a study done during the pandemic in Malaysia, among the population aged 15 to 24 years old, 1 in 4 is depressed, and 1 in 3 were found anxious. And a total of 16% of them are categorized as having severe depression and anxiety. This is an alarming trend. But now, as we move forward from the COVID-19 crisis, how do we help this group? For COVID-19 infections, we encourage the high-risk group to take up the vaccinations so that to reduce their chances of getting severe COVID-19 infections. So we use the same strategy to encourage our young people to also pick up the emotional regulation skills. And one of it, what we call as social emotional learning, to enhance their mental health resilience and hence their well-being. But the first step to emotional regulation skill is to be able to identify your emotions. Again, the technical term for it is what we call as emotional labeling. You need to first identify your own emotions, feel it, experience it, so that you can have a real face-off battle with these feelings, and so that you know how to handle it. And the next step is to know how to express it, to speak up. By expressing your true emotions, you will start to love yourself. You will be more empathetic to the others. And hence, you will also allow other people the respect and the space to do the same. In other words, this is one way to spread kindness to others. So we see the link here. By having self-compassion, not just we can develop the emotional regulation skills, we enhance their mental health resilience and also spread kindness to others. So this is to help us to navigate through these transitions successfully. As you see, now we have our social life again. The school has reopened, so did all the public places. And everyone is so excited and working so hard to craft an ambitious recovery plan for their education, for their career, for their social life. But the toll that the pandemic has taken on our mental health will not stop there. The effect will last much longer than most of the physical symptoms of our COVID-19 infections. And that's why we need to equip our young people to face all these uncertainties of what our new normal will look like. In fact, our life will never be the same again. And so now, let me end my talk today with the quote from our UNICEF ambassador who have just given a talk at the recent UN General Assembly. Life goes on, let's live on, but with more self-compassion and spread kindness to others. Thank you.